Hello and welcome. You're watching Diplomatic Channel and I am Amarachi Ubani. A few weeks ago, I received some information on 4 Nigerians confined in a detention camp somewhere in India. No, not jail, a detention camp. And what's interesting about this story, as I later found out, was how long they have been there. There are approximately 50,000 Nigerians living and working in India, and most of them are found in New Delhi, in Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore and Jaipur. And in the past few months, these Nigerians have become targets of Indian authorities. A reason is, if I may take your minds back to a story that emerged last November of a Nigerian man who was found dead with stab wounds in the Mapusa town of Panaji. A large mob of about 200 Nigerians protesting the death blocked a major national highway and clashed with police and locals. Since then, there's been an intense hunt for Nigerians who become targets of evictions. The High Commission in New Delhi confirmed Nigerians have been facing forcible evictions since then, and Consular Attaché to the Nigerian High Commission, Mr. Jacob Wadivia, is reported to have threatened that Nigeria will deport just as many Indians from Nigeria if the evictions are not stopped. But before then, I understand that Nigeria had formally written to the Indian government expressing concerns over the security of its citizens. And to be certain, I asked a dear colleague of mine who lives in New Delhi, and she confirmed my fears. Nigerians are being picked up on a daily basis, being accused of all sorts. One incident I remember that she narrated to me was a young lady walking by herself on the streets of Delhi. She was picked up for questioning despite not exhibiting any suspicious behavior. She was tested for drugs and so on, and was found to be clean. And while it is important to be sure foreigners do not pose a threat to any nation, Nigerians have been stereotyped by the Indian society to be drug dealers and fraudsters. Don't get me wrong, there are a few who engage in crime and all sorts, but there are plenty others doing good. Which brings us to my story this week. 4 young men from across Nigeria have been detained at a camp in Chengalpattu in the Tamil Nadu state, and they've been there for nearly 3 years. They're accused of committing online credit card fraud, and they say they're innocent. That's for the courts to decide. Our concern, however, is that after having posted bail, submitting their passports and travel documents, they've not been allowed to go home. Instead, they're spending their days, or should I say months and years, in a camp where activists say should have been shut down years ago, just like many others across the country.
Special camp.
It is not so much as being accused of a crime they believe they're innocent of. It's about how long they've waited to get a trial and where the waiting is being done.
For 2.5 years.
According to court documents, Oladapo Latubosun, Dixon, and Oyekunle Oluwagbemiga and Paul Osage were implicated in a criminal case on the allegation of online credit card fraud. They were granted relief of bail, and after their execution of sureties and release, have been confined in the special camp at Chengalpattu right from the date of the passing of the government orders.
The government, the DGP and
the court documents clearly stated that all 4 men should not leave the boundaries of the camp except with the permission of the collector. And since 2011, the men have been in the camp with no word on a trial date, and their case seemingly forgotten by the Chennai government and Nigeria as well. They reached out to Channels Television to tell their story, alongside this video of all 4 of them at the camp.
The government should please come to our aid, man. We're very suffering here.
And the camp is not for whole foreigners. The camp is for Tamil Sri Lankans. And the camp is for the entity. And the camp is for the terrorists, not we Nigerians.
Yes. It's like we've been sentenced already, even without a court order, without condition. Which makes it illegal. Please come to our aid.
Please, we want the government, the central government of India, to see this and come to our rescue, because we are getting mentally tortured and we are mental as we are here for 2 years, 2 years plus. We are mental. We have to say that, and that is true.
The detention camp, just like many others, it seems, has been around for almost 3 decades. During the war in Sri Lanka, it was used as a place where asylum seekers found refuge. But since the war ended, The Indian government has been using the camp as a place of detention for those who enter the nation without legal papers. Refugees are not allowed to leave the camp, but from the pictures sent to me by the 4 young Nigerian men, conditions there are very poor. Abiodun, whom I've been speaking to via telephone, says foreigners have no business being in the camp, especially if their government has stood surety for them. When I called the Nigerian High Commission in India, they confirmed they had intervened in the matter, but had got no response from the Indian government. Asked when was the last time they made some move towards their removal, a consular official said it was something the High Commissioner was very concerned about. However, the High Commissioner could still not be reached for comment, having promised an explanation of the case.
The terrorists.
Abiodun says their movement is not restricted, as long as it is within the camp, and they have access to the internet on their phones. But feeding and the biting of mosquitoes are a worry. But more importantly, they feel abandoned by the government.
Many factors define your health. Some you can control, while others are simply beyond you. On Health News, we highlight all these factors and through medical experts provide information that will help you take informed decisions on healthy living, nutrition, and keeping fit. Get incisive health quality analysis. Health News, promoting good health.
And in the course of the story, I had to get more from one of the detainees. And you can hear the urgency in his voice as a major concern is getting out of the detention camp. What really happened? What's the government accusing you of?
We were initially accused. The case which we don't know. We didn't commit the crime. We don't know anything. So we were remanded. And we got bail. Coming out from the prison after like 5 months, we met the cops outside again, and that's why they arrested us. That we are holding us with 3 order. And since then, we've been in this camp.
Let me understand. Before you were arrested and accused of committing online credit fraud, what exactly were you doing?
Ma'am.
What do you do in India?
We're a student.
You're just a student in India. Of what school?
NIT. We're doing information technology.
Okay, describe the day, the arrest happened. What were you doing? How did the cops come in on you?
I was at home. We were at home when they came.
You all live in the same place?
3 of us. 3, myself, another boy, and Dixon.
So you were just at home and then the Indian police arrived in your place and arrested you?
Yes, they need us in the station. Then from there, they said they are detaining us. That they are suspecting us.
Did they have any evidence? Did they show you evidence that, they have been monitoring your movements or monitoring your internet activities?
No.
When were you arrested? The day and the year?
December 2011.
And before then, how long have you been in India?
2 years.
What have you been doing for those 3 years?
I was a student.
Before you went to the NIT, you said?
I was student all through. We were students all through. Two were students.
So you said after your time in jail, you spent 5 months in jail, and then you were released. Oh, sorry, in prison.
Yes.
And sureties showed up from the Nigerian High Commission in New Delhi, and you submitted your passports and your travel documents, and you were still not allowed to go. But the 5 months, was it for the crime you committed?
No.
Did they find you guilty of the crime?
We were not charged. We were not charged.
You were not charged?
No.
But you spent 5 months in prison?
Yeah, because due to the security delay.
It took 5 months for you to get 2 sureties and submitting your passports.
Before it was the condition was embassy staffs, which we modified to normal.
And after your time in jail, why did they remand you in that concentration camp?
That is legality in it. We're not supposed to be here.
What state were you arrested in? And what prison?
Chennai, Tamil Nadu.
So, is it the Tamil Nadu government that remanded you to this place?
The police are the one. The police arrested us.
Who gave the order that you should be kept in the Chengalpattu detention camp?
The government of Tamil Nadu issued. The police went to the government to issue the order.
Did they tell you why they were taking you there?
No.
Despite the rift between Nigerians and Indians, on a much higher level, both countries do enjoy cordial